powered by Riverside FM.
Have you ever seen one of those big solar eclipses where, it's daylight 1 minute and then the next minute there's just darkness everywhere? Well, that is Florida's defensive tackle, Desmond Watson. And how would Desmond Watson change the landscape of the Minnesota Vikings interior defensive line? And that's what we're discussing today on the UP Unconventional Playbook. Please hit that like and subscribe button and consider becoming a member. I want for the Minnesota Vikings to have Desmond Watson on their defensive line. This dude is a mass of humanity. 6'5", weighing, not at, but weighing over 400 pounds, one of the largest players to ever play NCAA football ever. This dude is a mass of humanity, and I think his upside is going to be tremendous in the NFL. He played in 13 games in his junior year, 2019, totaling 65 tackles. 34 of those tackles were for losses, as well as 10 sacks. This dude is so big and strong. He's a mass of humanity, so big and strong that he demands a double team all the time. You put this guy on the Minnesota Vikings defensive line with Van Ginkel, Grenard, all the fellas in B-Flow's system, the amount of attention that he's going to garner in games is just going to open it up for everybody else. Sometimes there are a lot of analysts, a lot of people get worried about guys when they get that big, but this guy is over 400 pounds. But in my opinion, he carries his weight pretty well. And that may sound a little funny. That may sound a little oxymoronic, but to be over 400 pounds and carrying your weight well, but if you're going to be 400 pounds, you want to be the type of athlete that Desmond Watson is. I mean, the scheme and the double teams that offensive lines are going to have to do to take care of this young man as he gets better. Now, this is not only a guy that can stop and stuff the run, but again, you're talking about a guy that can cause some pressure on the interior of offensive lines. Guards having to pay attention to him, centers having to pay attention to him. Again, which is going to open it up for that defensive line of the Minnesota Vikings. Everybody has been talking about fixing the trenches. Well, this guy, Desmond Watson, is nothing but a trench setter. And so there's been a lot of focus going on the offensive line. Man, I'm telling you, with that 24th pick, I just don't think I would touch an offensive lineman with that 24th pick. I think what we have to do is just get something that's a little bit more proven, something that you've given the eye test over the last couple of years at this level, where you just don't know in college how these offensive linemen are going to turn around and how long will it take them to develop. I think when you look at an offensive lineman, I think you have to go in the free agent market, where defensive lineman is a little bit more adaptable. And I think a guy like Desmond Watson, and there's a plethora of really, really good defensive linemen. We're just highlighting Desmond Watson right now, that will be able to come in and cause some havoc, plug and play right away and make an impact for the Minnesota Vikings. Let's not forget the Minnesota Vikings first-round draft pick last year in Dallas Turner, who is going to have an increased role, I would assume, and be part of the mix next year. But the more and more I watch this Desmond Watson, man, this dude is a chunk of humanity. And I think the scheme that he played in college, his talents, his footwork, his strength, his mass, would be totally something that the Minnesota Vikings need in their toolbox going forward with that defensive line. I mean, this dude is unbelievable. When you talk about his career numbers, this kid enrolled in Florida 2021. He weighed 440 pounds when he came in, lowered his weight to 400, so he lost 20 pounds. He appeared in all 13 games, played total 150 snaps, saw defensive action in 8 games, recording 7 tackles and a half a sack in his freshman year. He became a fan favorite at the University of Florida 2022, appearing in 13 games, 10 as a starter, recording 25 tackles. He came into spring camp weighing 449 pounds, but later dropped his weight, appeared in all 12 games during the 2023 season, posted 11 tackles, 1 tackle for a loss. Entered spring camp in 2024 with a weight of 464 pounds, later dropping down to 449. Now you can say, well, Lionel, is this guy going to have a weight problem? Well, he seems to be able to gain weight and then take it off, so I don't necessarily see it be a problem. With the Minnesota Vikings, they will have him at a target weight. Kwesi and those guys, B-Flow and those guys will say, hey, this is where you need to be. They've got the personnel to help him continue to stay there, and he's shown the ability to be able to lose some of those pounds. I like this Desmond Watson kid. I think the Minnesota Vikings should take a hard look at him, and hopefully he'll put up some great combine numbers. We're going to be taking a look at him in the combine, and then I'll leave it up to the brass, Kwesi, Adofo-Mensah, and the fellas to see if they make him a Minnesota Viking. Obviously, there's a lot of different options out there for the Minnesota Vikings. This is just a guy that I highlighted. The more and more I watch this kid and research this kid, I'm just a Desmond Watson guy, and he just needs to be a Minnesota Viking. Please hit that like and subscribe button. Please consider becoming a member. This is Unconventional Playbook. We will make sure to see you when we see you. Desmond Watson, UP Nation. Desmond Watson.